Hi and welcome back to Let's Learn to Sew. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the candle wicking foot on your sewing machine. I've done this sample on some pink fabric with a cream thread. Traditionally though, candle wicking is done on a white or a cream or ivory type fabric with a thread that matches. But I went ahead and stitched it out on this pink to make sure that you guys could see the stitch detail. Now traditionally, candle wicking is the act of sewing French or colonial knots onto fabric in a pattern. It was traditionally done by hand, but with a lot of the new computerized sewing machines, you can either program a stitch into your machine like I did here, or your machine will come with pre-programmed stitches. Now I wanted to make sure that as I stitched this out, it could be done fairly quickly for you guys so you don't have to watch a long video, but you could make this design look more like a French knot by increasing your stitch width and decreasing the stitch length. So that would give it more of a build up here on the stitch, which is what you would traditionally find in candle wicking stitches. Here I have my regular all-purpose foot, and here is the candle wicking stitch foot. You can see that they are designed different at the toe. There's more of an opening here. And then if you look in the area where your stitches form, the candle wicking stitch area is much bigger. That allows you to see the stitches being formed. It also allows you, if you are trying to follow a design that you've drawn onto your fabric, see the line. You have guides on the sides and you have a guide down the middle. Down the middle is where your needle is going to hit. Now on the back side, you can see that my all-purpose foot is smooth. That means that as the stitches are formed, my foot would go along and it would be pressing against those stitches, and it could press down on them and distort them. Okay, let me turn this upside down so you guys can see it. With the candle wicking foot, you actually have a channel, and the stitches will lie in this area here, keeping the foot up off of the stitches. The threads I have here are just some polyester Gutermann thread in white and cream. You can purchase a thicker thread that is made for the sewing machine, and it is for candle wicking, and it's going to be about double the thickness of this traditional thread, giving you a much more prominent stitch out. So for our stitch sample, I'm going to pretend that this is the hem of a baby gown, and I'm just going to line my stitches up along the edge as if I was creating the candle wick design along the edge of the gown. So I've got my machine set up for a woven medium fabric, and I've gone ahead and chosen one of the pre-installed stitches for candle wicking that came with my machine. Candle wicking foot on. Got my thread tails under the presser foot into the back of the machine. So got my fabric, the edge of my fabric lined up with one of my guides. That'll help me stay straight. Readjusted the camera, and hopefully you guys, I've got it zoomed in where you can see the stitch forming. Now you've probably noticed that in between it's making some long straight stitches, and we'll go back and we'll clip those when we're done. Once you've stitched the entire area of your design, you'll just go ahead, raise your presser foot, and trim your threads. You do not need to backstitch at the beginning or the end of the decorative stitch. We have our candle wick sample, and these are the little stitch lines in between. You have two options. You could leave them, or if you wanted it to look like it was done by hand, we'd go back in and snip these. I've already removed a set here. The easiest way to remove them is with some curved snips. These are the type that you would use for embroidery. Just going to work that tip under, give it a little snip. And then go close to it and snip it. Work your way down the entire design, snipping those little threads. Then once you get the entire design snipped, you can just take your iron, if the fabric is able to be ironed, and just give it a quick press and those little holes will close up. If you have any questions about using the candle wicking foot with your sewing machine, let me know down in the comments section and I'll be happy to answer them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. And as always, we'd love it if you'd visit us over at letslearntosew.com.